Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Select the Snows podcast. I'm Caitlin,
I'm Anna.
and today our topic is saying yes or no. So, Anna, what is your current read?
I'm still reading Bartemius. I also want to give a heads up to our watchers and listeners. I am in a very bad mood right now. I'm sorry if that reads through. Um, but I felt like it would add to the episode for some reason. So
Mhm.
there's just no bullshit today. I can't. My patience is at zero
We don't
and
sugarcoat our feelings here.
I I I wanted to film this another time, but it's good to see all sides of people.
hmm
And this is me right now. Caitlin, what is your current read?
I'm finishing up People We Meet on Vacation. It's kind of like a summer romance type read.
Hmm. I've
I
heard of
needed a
it.
break. I needed a break from all the horror and thriller and psychological thriller and decided to pick up the a little cute romance book, as I mentioned before.
I think I've read it before.
I
It's
think
Emily Henry, right?
yes, Henry, yeah.
All of her books are so similar that I'm
Yeah.
like, which one is it? Um, I feel like I've read it before, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
They all have the same premise.
Uh-huh.
And you know, what is your current obsession?
My current obsession is this mug. Um, I was doing a kitchen clean out today. Not today, a couple days ago. And I found this mug
Oh, that's
and
so
it has like a
cute.
little story on it. It says, Once upon a time there were four little rabbits. Their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter.
It's a perfect
Caitlin?
mug.
Yeah. I know it's a good size.
hmm
Caitlin, what is your current obsession?
My current obsession are these purple headphones. They're Cohen. Ada always said to me how she recommended them,
Mm-hmm.
and I agreed. Everyone
Cohen,
should get
please
them.
sponsor me. I've been using Cohen headphones for
hmm
like since middle school. What is that? 15 years? 10,
Yeah,
10, 13,
Penny,
12, something like
yeah.
that.
Ada got almost every single color there is.
Yeah, I've had red. That was middle school to through high school. I didn't really use them that much in high school, and then I used them a lot in college, and then I was like, "Oh God, these are falling apart." Um, then I got teal, white, and black. These new guys.
I met you during your teal era.
It's so funny. Each Anna era is what color headphones I had. So we've had this topic as like a want to talk about for a while, but
Mhm.
like we didn't really know how to put it together.
We just needed to find the right time.
Yeah, saying yes and no. There are positives and negatives to both sides. And I have personal experiences to both sides of saying yes and no. And I wanted to share a little bit. Um, so during COVID, there was a YouTube channel that I stumbled across called Yes Theory, and it was a time in my life where anxiety was really high, and especially social anxiety, not only because of COVID, um, but being isolated for so long, it put me in a corner socially. I watched this one YouTube video of Yes Theory, and it was I forget where they were initially, but they were asking random people on the street if they wanted to go to a random trip to Australia like that day. They found this guy and he was like, "Oh, yes." And like the whole premise of the YouTube channel is like, look at how many great things can happen when you say yes. That video was very, very inspiring and it's like a life-changing video to watch. And so I challenged myself to start to say yes to things more. But there was a really great opportunity that happened when I said yes to these things. And saying yes is also built within the film industry.
Mm.
Like you have to say yes to things in order to get jobs, in order to build network and connections.
It also builds trust. Oh, I can depend on this person.
Being like reliable.
Mm.
So saying yes to those projects really is important for that, especially if you are a beginner. And one of the things that I said yes to was a a Hulu comedy special. I didn't know it was a Hulu comedy special at the time. Basically, like until I got there, it was a Zarna Garg comedy special. Um, I think it was like a three-day shoot, something. It was like live audience. I was PAing, um, like ushering Zarna and her family and all her people and her team between the hotel and the theater and like the green rooms and stuff. And basically like updating her when to like go on stage. That was like such an amazing experience, and it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't said yes. But one downside to saying yes is like it's such a especially in the film industry, you have to say yes without knowing any context.
Mm.
And that is a dangerous thing. I had said yes to this one job very, well, it's not very recently, recently, like within a year. I didn't know what I was doing. I was only told that I would be a PA, that it was in San Francisco. It was a 1 day shoot for 12 hours, and that it was paid, and that here's the location and the um your start time to
Mm.
like be on set. And I looked it up and it was like on Market Street at like 6 a.m. That was the call time. The address is a theater, so like we're probably shooting inside when the theater opens.
Yeah.
I had to find a parking garage that was a 10-minute walk on Market Street at 5:30 in the morning as a young woman with no one in sight who looked like a person from set. And I was like, did I just get like hoodwinked? Called the producer and he was like, oh yeah, we're around the corner um in a car with our lights on. Something along those lines. And so I'm like very, very aware of my surroundings. For those of you who do not know San Francisco Market Street, if you just happen to not know that area, it is dangerous,
Mm.
um, and not a place that you should be at 6 in the
Yeah.
morning alone.
Just
Um,
think of it's kind of like Skid Row in LA.
yeah.
Maybe a
Um,
little less, but like same kind of vibe.
so I walk around the corner, I see the car with the lights, the hazards on. I think it was that day I had injured my neck and like I
You did,
couldn't turn
yeah.
to the left fully. Um, and so that was the only thing that I was like, I probably shouldn't be driving, but like, what are the chances I'm going to be driving? Like, it's just going to be an inside shoot. And these were things that were never confirmed. Like, I just had assumed that it was going to be inside. And so I get to the car, they roll down their windows. It's two men, and I'm like, and it's kind of in a weird area where it's I can't really hear what they're saying because of all the like there's like noise happening. It's not really
Mm.
construction noise, but it's just like it's I can't really hear what they're saying, but I'm like nodding and smiling like, "Oh yeah." But the only thing that I hear is like, "Are you able to do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then I heard like, "Why don't you jump in the car and then we can go to another place and set up the camera." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Female alarm going off. I felt okay with getting in the car with them because it was through a connection of a person that I trust.
I
Um,
remember you telling me about this, like I'm on my way, like I arrived, and I'm just like I'm tracking you,
yeah.
like just in case.
So I get in the car and I was like, "Hey, can you like re-say what you said? Because I couldn't really hear what you were saying." Basically, he was like, "Yeah, so we're gonna have you be driving. Like, we need someone to be in charge of the car." And I was like, "Oh, I have a neck injury right now and I can't turn to my left." And so, like, of course, that's the one thing you need me to do is drive. So we go somewhere like near Starbucks. They set up the camera. At this point, it's like 7 a.m. I get them coffee from the Starbucks and their food
Mm.
and stuff. Basically, they said they gave me a script and they said they are going to be shooting all outside, and it is a like almost like a promotional video about, oh my God, what is the area called, Caitlin? Tenderloin.
Anyway,
Um, I
I said
typed in
tomahawk.
I typed in San Francisco areas to avoid, and that's the first thing that popped up. So yeah, it was a like promotional shoot of how the Tenderloin is like an artistic area and should be saved. Love the idea, but they should have hired a male PA who feels comfortable around
San
these
Francisco.
areas
Yeah.
and San Francisco. And I was not. That like I haven't been to San Francisco very often. I don't feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable in San Francisco. I don't feel comfortable driving in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And those were all the things that I was doing in the Tenderloin district alone. It ended up being about five or four guys and me, total of five crew. I would drive them to their area of choice with the director's car and drop them off, and they would say, "Okay, we'll see you in like 2 hours. Don't get a ticket." And so I would have to find parking in the Tenderloin district with like less than 50 miles on the car and not get
And
stabbed.
in San Francisco, hardly has any places where you can park.
Yeah. So I what I was doing is I was parking in literally any empty space like no parking zones. I would put my
Mm.
hazards on like for 10 minutes, and if I saw someone like a parking person behind me or like a cop, I would move to the next location. Like it's
Mm.
pissing me off talking about it because like what the fu like I was so stressed the entire day, and like I had my knife on me just in case, and like they told me
Yeah.
to like they had equipment in the back in the car. And I was like, Why would they hire a young woman to defend their equipment in the Tenderloin district?"
They weren't thinking.
They bought me lunch, and like I was I was just like fidgeting with my knife, to scare off the men that were like tapping and knocking at the window, like, "Hey, someone told me that I was supposed to be in there." And
Mm.
like all the weird shit that was happening to me. And as soon as they come up, everyone kind of disperses because they're a group of men.
Mm-hmm.
And so they made a joke of like, "Oh, why are you flicking your knife in and out?" Of like, "Oh, maybe because I'm being assaulted by like crazy people
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like it's a way to make me feel safe."
Yeah.
And you're like making a joke out of it. Yeah, that was my entire day of driving them around and fending off people. I talked my way out of 2 parking tickets. So yeah, that was that experience. So that's a negative side of saying yes
Mm-hmm.
to things that you don't know much information about. Like you, I felt so I didn't want to leave the house for like 2 weeks after that experience because
Mm-hmm.
I needed comfort.
Yeah.
And that was very scary for me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And to some people, like some people who live in that environment, it may seem completely fine. But I live in the suburbs of Northern California where not a lot of that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
So seeing that completely surrounding me 24/7 for 12 hours is really shocking. So both of these scenarios were personal experiences that happened to me within the film industry that were both positives and negatives of saying
Mm-hmm.
yes. Caitlin, do you have any personal stories?
Yeah. My, not that I, from what I can remember, my experience wasn't as traumatic as your experience was. But like you, I'm also a people pleaser. Like I think I've always been one because when I was younger, someone asked me to do a favor for them, but at that time I couldn't do it. So I said I can't. I think that was the first time I ever said no, and that but in elementary school, I said no, and that person immediately was like, "Oh, Caitlin is a bad person. She doesn't like helping others," and just started spreading rumors. And from that point on, I was like, I have to say yes in order to like like seem like a good person. Otherwise, I'm gonna be seen as like unapproachable. And so I started saying yes um in middle school, high school, and all of those built up, like all the favors built up, and it made me overwhelmed and stressed out. Like it got to the point where um I hardly had time to relax. It was just work, work, work. Yeah, but a positive of saying yes to things has definitely led to experience like one of my English teachers. She told me since I loved writing, why don't I take a screenwriting course at the JC? Because she already knew I was taking JC courses. And I was like, you know what? Why not? And so I took on that extra class and it turned out I really loved it. That definitely helped me a lot with the filmmaking process, especially to help you with Studio
Hmm.
Blue and other filming stuff.
Yeah. It's like a gamble to say
Yeah.
yes. It's like either way it could change your life
Mm-hmm.
in a negative way or a positive way.
Mm-hmm. And I guess like even with the negatives, it gives you a lesson to learn from. For example, you with not taking any San Francisco jobs.
Yeah. Well, originally that was my like kind of emotional answer because
Mm-hmm.
there's more trauma to San Francisco than just that job that like that just added on
Yeah.
to it. Um, but so that was like the emotional, I'm not taking any more San Francisco jobs because it only leads to bad things.
Mm.
And at that point, I hadn't had um, a positive experience in San Francisco in a long time. And like it was like back to back negative things.
Yeah.
The lesson that I learned from that specific traumatic experience was to ask more questions before you say yes.
Hmm.
Yes doesn't have to be an automatic thing.
Yeah.
It could be yes a day later. It could be
Hmm.
yes 6 hours later. It could be yes a half an hour later. But that immediate yes, let me do more research first and then I'll follow up with you.
Hmm.
That was my lesson in that.
Yeah. As you said, it's completely okay to ask for more time and
Yeah.
just make this into a statement and not a question. Be adamant and confident in your stance of saying that. A statement rather than the question leaves the power to be in your hands.
So let's kind of like recap the positives and negatives of saying yes, and then we'll get into saying no.
Mhm. Um, Positives, as we said before, like positives are saying yes. It gives you more opportunities. It helps you build connections and reliability with others.
And responsibility.
Yeah.
Like it makes you seem like a person who knows how to handle shit
Hmm.
if you say yes.
It makes you seem like, oh, that person has it all. Like they know what they're
Hmm.
doing. Negatives of saying yes is that there is too much buildup. Like, buildup as in things you said yes to, it could take over your entire schedule. And there's not enough time in the world, but you keep
Hmm.
saying yes to these things, which could
And
lead,
it could overlap.
yeah, I learned that the hard way. And which could lead to stress and mental breakdowns.
So let's get into the positives of saying no.
Hmm.
So I started doing this more recently. I do need to get better at it because I've had a habit now of saying yes to everything,
Hmm.
and sometimes that's not the best thing to do.
Yeah.
So, some positives of saying no. You set boundaries for yourself, and
Hmm.
that is one of our Snail Girly values,
Yes.
and it is extremely important to have boundaries because you don't get it taken advantage of
Hmm.
in those certain situations. If you say no to something, that boundary is now like a wall.
Hmm.
Like that person now doesn't have the power to break past that wall, um, because now you have the power of the conversation.
Yes.
You are in control of what
Hmm.
happens next. If you say no to something, that's it. They can go to somebody else,
Yeah.
and it's not your problem.
Hmm.
And I think we talked a little bit about this um, during our pet peeves episode.
Hmm.
It was a while ago. Oh my God. Um, for all the people pleasers out there, you can say no to things.
Hmm.
It's a very liberating experience that I need to get in the habit of more.
During my undergrad studies, at one of my work positions, my direct supervisor was out for a majority of the time doing the doing my last semester, and so this other person was in charge. Let's call her Jane, I guess, as a placeholder.
Can we call her Frederica?
Frederica. How would you describe Frederica? She was controlling, She was very lazy. Anna has lots to say.
It's the it's the okay. It's the type of person. Okay. Okay, I have a scenario to describe the type of person that Frederica is. You are a very hard worker, right? I'm setting the scene. You are an A student. You get 98 plus grades. You work so hard. You come to school an hour early. You do every assignment on time, early even. You are a teacher's pet. You have your you have a path for your career, right? You know the next step that you want to do. And you know this. You are a hard worker. Let's say there's like, I don't know, an award at this like school or job. Um and it's like the hard worker award and you're like, "Oh my God, this is for me." And so you apply and you're like, "I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it." And you're at the ceremony, they're presenting this award, and the winner is the stoner who doesn't do assignments and is lazy and doesn't do anything.
That's a good analogy.
Um, that's the type of energy that Frederica gives
Yeah.
is like, how did you get this?
Hmm.
You don't do anything.
Yeah.
How are you in charge of this?
I
That's who Frederica is.
I basically did her job
Yeah,
while also doing my job as um what I was originally hired for.
yeah.
She always told me to do her jobs for her. Oh, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? Can you do that? And at first, I was like, whatever, sure. But then I started to realize, first of all, I have more working experience at this job than her. Second of all, she's not really in charge of me because I can still call and visit my actual supervisor. And so I started saying no. I was like, I'm not qualified for this job, or I don't have time. And slowly, she started to back off,
Yeah.
like to the point where she kind of avoided me.
Hmm. And
And
like
that,
you didn't get fired.
no,
You did it like you set a boundary. I
yeah.
am not doing your job, Frederica.
Mhm.
You get the paper out of the printer yourself.
Oh, oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, because she printed something from her office, and from my desk to the printer, and from her desk to the printer, it's the same exact distance. And she called out from her office, can you
It's
get that
probably about
paper?
5 feet, by the way.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a distance. It's like you walk 3 steps and there you are.
And I remember one time you were there, and she,
Wait, hold on. By the way, I think it's important to note that she is not disabled.
no,
She's fully capable
yes.
of walking to this printer.
If she was disabled, this would be a different conversation. I would
Yeah.
have done it. But yeah, she's totally capable, and she could have done it herself. Um,
Mhm.
but and there was this one other instance. You were there with me. We were having dinner at the office, and it was at night,
Yeah.
and Frederica came out, and she stood by one of my coworkers' desk, and she was like, "Caitlin, when you come in tomorrow, can you clean this desk?" And I was just sitting there dumbfounded. But you st stood up, and she was like, and you were like, "Why does Caitlin have to do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And guess what? I didn't do. I didn't clean her desk
Yeah.
because
I was just like dumbfounded
yeah,
by the things that she's asking you to do. Like, why would she ask you to clean someone else's desk who would be in the
exactly,
next day?
exactly. And I'm like, I'm not touching her stuff. Like, what if like some of these stuff are important for her? I'm just
Yeah.
not. I'm not just gonna throw them away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
So
Frederica.
yeah. And so like there are some certain situations that it's okay to say no to, especially when it comes to boundaries. You are important first. You come first.
And this kind of ties back to our Snail Girly values. Trust your intuition. If it
Mhm.
immediately feels wrong, you can say no.
Yeah,
It's also something that Caitlin and I are actively, or at least I don't know about you, Caitlin, but I'm actively trying to get over my people pleasing
me
and like I
too.
don't give a shit what people say.
Yeah.
Like I feel what I feel and I can say no to this.
Hmm.
And sorry if that offends you, but like I don't give a shit. I'm protecting me.
Hmm. Me too. I'm slowly like getting over the people pleasing phase and learning how
hmm
to say no.
We do it
So yeah,
together.
yay. And I'm proud of us for that.
Me too.
And so Anna, which Snowgirly value would you take with you?
Oh, we talked about so many in this episode. The most important one for me is setting boundaries, for
Hmm.
sure. Um, Specifically with this episode and what I want to focus on this week is to set boundaries. Um, I I haven't actively done it in a while just because I'm in a weird transitional period of like following orders. But soon I will need to be setting boundaries and kind of exploring what those boundaries are. So I'm in a weird transitional period now, but I think it's important to keep that in mind. Caitlin, what is
Yes.
your snail girly value for this week?
Um, as you said, I also believe boundaries are really important, but also tied into that, practicing self-care and nurture
Mm.
your inner garden. When work becomes too much for you, you can always set things aside. And as Anna once said, um, and her favorite quote, rejection is just redirection.
That is my favorite quote. It changed my life. It did.
We hope that you learned something from this episode, and we'll see you guys for the next one.